Yes. Hello. It is I. Oh, my knee, man. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting too fucking old for all this bullshit. So, let's see. Well, what I wanted to go into in this video is talking about the fifth dimension. So, you may not have noticed, the fifth dimension is actually a really popular subject, the fifth dimension. And it's usually most popular among people who are talking about spiritual enlightenment and all these kinds of things, right? And there's a very glaring pattern going on with this trend about the fifth dimension. So in the fifth dimension, in the kind of enlightenment topic of discussion, well, it's like a really big thing, okay? And so whenever a person is talking about is going into depth on the fifth dimension in regards to ascension, a spiritual ascension, and then a spiritual ascension into further enlightenment, and all this stuff. They're assuming, they're misleading people by under this false assumption that they know something about the fifth dimension, because first of all, that is a hypothesis. It's not even, it's like theory. And then but the thing that people seem to completely miss is, well, what about the fourth dimension? How could someone know so much about the fifth dimension without having first ascended through the fourth dimension first? First things first. There should be like a chronological, kind of order if you're talking about dimensions. See, people in general, like just people, are familiar with the three-dimensional reality. Like the reality that we reference, that we live in, is a three-dimensional reality. And so you got all these people talking about the fifth dimension. Well, what they're trying to imply to their audience is that they've already ascended beyond the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension. And so they don't even reference the fourth dimension. They're just like talking about the fifth dimension and how, the fifth dimension of the spiritual ascension into transcendental enlightenment and shit. It's like, well, what about the fourth? How is it that you're bypassing the fourth and you're just going straight to like fifth dimension stuff? It's like massive virtue signaling. So much of everything is just mass fucking psychosis virtue signaling, and we're all supposed to just ignore all these inconsistencies, like talking about the fifth dimension. Well, what about the fourth? I mean, we live in a three-dimensional reality, and you're talking about the fifth dimension. I mean, how is it that we've just skipped the fourth dimension? Everybody's just skipped the fourth dimension. It's just more just mass psychosis stupidity. And this is like a trendy thing, like everybody's discussing the fifth dimension. And really what it is people always claim to have attained something that they don't have. You can't transmit something you don't have. If you don't have an understanding of the fifth dimension, because you're just some grifty shill, lying shill, then you can't transmit it. And there's an obvious identifier. There's an obvious kind of like, it's like how can you be buying into someone's bullshit when they're talking about the fifth dimension when they've just completely glossed over the entire fourth dimension? Like there isn't even a mention of the fourth dimension. It's like, no, I didn't even need to. I'm so good that I just breezed right through the fourth. These people are just nothing but fucking lying, grifting, fucking shill, and they're all over the place. They're everywhere. If they're not talking about the fourth dimension, then they're full of shit. You know, the anything beyond third dimension is theory. So there shouldn't even be any discussion on the fifth dimension if the fourth dimension is theory. Like we should be, if there's going to be any kind of like reasonable discussion on dimensions beyond the third, well then the focus should be the fourth dimension, not just completely bypassing the fourth and going straight into all this fucking bullshit so-called intellectual discussion on the fifth dimension. It's fucking theory. And these people are talking about it as though they have proven the theory that there are dimensions beyond the third dimension. Like, how is that any different than Joel Osteen or these fucking, Jim Baker or Jimmy Swagger? It's all the identical exact same thing. But so let's just completely bypass any discussion on the fourth dimension because we're so far beyond that we need to talk down to the people who are in the fifth dimension because we're actually ascending beyond sixth dimension, and so we have to, all these lesser inferior people, we have to explain to them the fifth dimension. And just disregard any discussion on the fourth dimension because that's just so passé. That's just so like 1980s, bro. Like, And I just can't believe people drink this fucking Jim Jones Kool-Aid. I mean, Jim Jones got nothing on these fucking, all this fucking cult bullshit going on all over on the internet and everything. Like, the internet is just the stupidest fucking thing. It's equally as stupid as mainstream media. So I just don't get it. I don't get what's the big deal with the internet, man. I'm on the internet, bro. It's stupidest fucking bullshit I've ever seen.